And you can look him up, folks. Now, Mutual UFO Network and the group before, and then, of course, we've got ARPA and DARPA is the government side. And before that was when the CIA started, and before that in World War II, and we had 43, and we had the Social Security cards when we become numbers. This is I told you all that was going to be very in-depth. But the couple that started in Wisconsin, that's very important. And then Bruce Maccabee, and then Daryl Sims, Nick Pope, and all of them in Japan, those all come much later after J. Allen Hynek. But the J. Allen Hynek story in the Blue Book is running now on the History Channel, I believe, a series. I can't get it, even though I pay $145 a month for MediaCom and all that. I can't get it, so I can't follow it, but I'll hopefully see it later. So there's a history. So, Janet, do you want to call that the nuts and bolts on the UFO or Alienology? It's all part of Alienology, but it's also part of Cosmology and Ufology and PSYOPS when you say government. So, Steve, why don't you look up Wikipedia PSYOPS? Can you get on a computer? Because you're not familiar with it.
I'm in the backyard right now. I'm not on the computer. But,
yes.
Okay.
I just want to have a discussion about this stuff instead of categorizing stuff. I just want to say.
All right. Well, I'm picking up a lot of.
We're running out of time. Yeah.
Static. And we're going to do this weekly. So y'all write it down, but you'll be able to hear it. And I like to go back to YouTube and listen to it on the television. Does anybody else hear the static, or is it just me?
Yeah, I hear it. It's not real loud here, but I hear it.
That's interesting. All right. Janet, all right, so under Alienology, Janet,
I just muted.
Everything...
Did that help? When I just muted, did that help?
Yeah, it did. Yes.
Okay,
Hawaii always has the worst...
It might be my fan because it's hot.
It sounds like electrical snow interference.
Yeah, probably
and I do get that a lot out of Janet in Hawaii. All right, so
I'm going to turn off my fans, and I'll be right back.
I've got mine off.
So I turn off my fans. Okay.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
All right, Steve. What it is I need your assistance, and you brought up James Carrion, which was interesting. So I've dropped Barry Gaunt and Earl Benezet. They were the Kentucky director and assistant director of that particular state under Mutual UFO Network. So apparently now see, I've never been to any conferences or any UFO anything except a couple of meetings with MUFON at a library, and maybe two. And Earl showed up one. So I met Earl and Barry, and then everybody got fired when I got involved. It was really kinky. And my name was dropped and used by very important people, and it was on UFO Digest, and folks, that is documented. My name was used in vain by somebody, and I saw it in writing, and people were calling me saying, they said I had teamed up or something with them, and I had no clue who these people were. But my name got to be relatively very powerful very quickly, and with the Bigelow, the Star Team, Barry Gaunt, Earl Benezet, James Carrion, and then Captain McDonald that came in and took James' place, right? So were you involved during that time? Because that was back in 2007, I believe.
I've never been involved with MUFON. I've never trusted them. Jan Harzan was the one that tried to discredit my work.
Really?
When I gave him a report on the San Augustine crash debris, he went to someone named Phyllis Schlafly, I think, some chemist that they associate with, and she did an analysis that was not nearly as in depth as my own, and then they said that because hers didn't agree with mine, that mine was just thrown out the window and invalid, and they were trying to have the last word and just bury my my report. And
oh, that's not right. You can have various opinions, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
on physical
that was unscientific and unprofessional, and it really reinforced my opinion that MUFON was not to be trusted.
I understand. So that was, well, yeah, they could have various chemistry reports, and you realize that, right? You preferably have 3, not 1. and then compare.
Sure.
It's preferable, but it's very expensive to have physical chemistry. The average person makes $72,000 a year if you work for somebody else, right? For a physical chemist.
Okay.
So, you're lucky because the government's $65K a year, folks, is like the basic generic analyst, I guess, just 5 to 12. If you're lucky, you make half of that. But if you're just, in intelligence, but chemistry, that's like right up there with truck drivers. We make $50,000 to $70,000 a year. I don't know what they make these days. I'm out of date by 20 years, but we're talking 2007, right? You said you met him.
This was around 2010.
Really? So James Carrion was still around, but he had already been fired.
I never met Jan Harzan, but I talked to him on the phone once. But he was.
Well, did he seem intelligent?
Yes, he seems intelligent. I think he's. My personal opinion is that he's working for the Air Force. Dr. Lear told me that he was taking Air Force money, and that they were using MUFON as a way to gather physical evidence from across the country. People send samples to MUFON all the time, and they send them on to the Air Force Office of Special Investigation. And
that explains Richard Doty.
That they're nothing special.
All right. Well, Richard Doty gets paid through working through. From his words to my phone anyway, and it was Richard Doty, but he explained some things. And yes, it seems to be a pecking order based on if you're a consultant in the UFO field. So a lot of it is about contractual work to get paid in the movie industry, television, documentaries, Ancient Aliens. And that's what I understood was being taken over back when I just came 2007 and 8. I was writing it was going to be a huge industry in 2007, putting it in writing. And
I'm not into all that. I'm into what the evidence says. And he was obviously trying to bury any evidence that I put out there because it was a more sophisticated analysis than they were able to provide.
I'd like to. Did you send that to me?
That I had access to at that time. Yeah, certainly I could send it to you.
All right. Well, that's good. Yeah. Well, with UFO Association, Alien and our Alien Hunters organization, and then we have ACO Association. So ACOassociation.com, and then we have alienhunters.org. And then we have UFOassociation.org. But, Steve, I believe you said you'd be honored to help us with all of them. But, some of them, yeah. Janet, we're going to have. We've got these people. All right, we have these people, Art Greenfield, Norio Halakawa, Richard Doty. A lot of them don't get along in the business. And maybe it's what Steve is referring to, allegedly, purportedly, I don't know how we want to say it, but because this is news and we're being recorded here, plus, like I said,
there's definitely government agents implanted in all these UFO organizations. And in my opinion, Mr. Harzan is one of them. And I can name a few more names. I can do it right here, but
he had an experience when he was a young man. Jan had an experience, or he went on record.
I don't doubt that, but just because you're an experiencer doesn't mean you can't work for the government to cover it up as well.
Right.
No,
yeah, and this conversation, could you go back and so I'm on track. I'm sorry, I had to turn off. It's first of all, it's the noise reduced, so I turned off all the fans. It should be reduced.
Yeah, amazing.
So anyway, so I missed out. What was going on? I think you were talking about the people like MUFON and other groups that might be infiltrated, and they're doing disinformation. Yeah, we don't know who's what, who's anything. I mean, everything can be infiltrated. They're that big. They're that big that they infiltrate every aspect of our lives.
MUFON is a piece of Swiss cheese as far as infiltration is concerned. Every other member is, in my opinion, somebody that's reporting to the government. I mean, I've seen it.
Right.
I've seen it for myself at MUFON meetings. I I can spot government agents a mile away. I mean, I'm somewhat psychic too, and they're very infiltrated, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I think that, between everything being recorded, everything being monitored, tracked, and all the technologies that we can't begin to imagine, plus the individuals, there's very little room for any kind of individual freedom or expression. I mean, we can do the best we can, but I can't go through life paranoid. They might kill me, they might take me out, but at least I will live something. I will live part of my life. If I walk through life in fear, I'll never do anything. I'll just sit here under my blankets,
Well, I've never been scared of the government. I was always pro-government because they paid the bills, and I enjoyed the research, and they never, I mean, other than, going out for boot camp, things like that. But the thing is, we all have various hats we wear, and we put them on and we take them off. So some people could be in the military and still be interested in alienology and ufology, and I've seen that recently. I posted a UFO video of a gentleman in uniform reporting to his friends in a military environment. And it's very obvious because you can't have those duffel bags and the uniforms.
Pro-government. I would love to be pro-government in this field because they do a lot of studies on this subject for obvious reasons, national security reasons, but they also try to keep all this information from the public, and it's difficult to be in favor of that if you're in an amateur standing like we are.
Well, right, and that's why we have to also, so I don't know where you want to put this, but we're going to have to discuss the levels in PSYOPS and clearances and classifications and levels of clearances and, above crypto and the various levels, 33, 38, whatever, depends on who you ask, and the names that you assign different things above that. But when you go into a military base, you get the basics, a national agency check, confidential, secret or top secret, and crypto, and they call Q clearance. Government contractors have different clearances from those in the uniforms, usually, and they work with a need-to-know basis. It's all based on after we had a lot of trouble in our government and outside our government after World War II with national security because we were infiltrated by spies. And my husband and I, working for President Ronald Reagan, learned about a lot of history that you have to learn firsthand in Europe as to how the underground French connection in Germany, and it goes back to Hitler and all that stuff. They all worked together and they all worked against each other. But remember, American contractors, Ford was building things for Hitler. And we were making jobs in America, but we were funding basically both sides of the government or both sides of the war, whether it was communism or capitalism.
That's still going
and most
on
of the world knows that. It's right. So
I know
it's pretty
that.
well known.
To this day. It's an artificial division. You get arguing about the different individual characters in the play, Hillary, Trump, Obama, Bush, but they're all in the same team.
Those are false flags. That's right, and I've been in many.
Same team as they are.
Go ahead, say it again, Steve.
I do believe that Obama and Hillary are on the same team, but the deep
when
state's
you get
all
to
on the
the
same
top
team.
of it,
I
they're
think
all
Trump's an outsider.
in
That's why they're so against him.
No, that's the polarity game they're creating, and that divides and conquers, and it's going to lead us to World War III and Civil War. No, that's the artificial. Anybody who's in the Billionaires Club or the Multimillionaires Club, they're in this Illuminati. Follow the bloodline, dear. They're all connected. They're all related, and they're all part of the same group.
Well,
I hope you're wrong.
I hope you're wrong. I very much fear that if you're right, then all is lost.
Well, no, you got to go outside of the game. Once you get outside of that game, you realize they're doing the polarity game. Okay, that's where you break the, it's Orwellian 1984. Orwell said we're going to have three continuous so-called separate political arenas, right? They called it, I forget what it was, but they're supposed to be countries. But all that is fake. That's the fake news, that there's this polarity, that there's different countries, that there are different religions. It's all one at the top, and the divisions were created, and it goes back to Nanar the Anunnaki, who said, how can we control this population? There were only about 1,000 Anunnaki, and there were billions of humans, going on billions. And so how do we do it? Well, we divide and conquer. We create separation, keep creating separation, and it's just fighting. And we're so distracted, we're just pawns in their chess game. That's why they create chess.